Hello everybody, my name is Red Vlogs and welcome back to another episode of Redstone with Red. So here we are back with another episode of this series. We are on episode 1.5. You might be wondering, why is it 1.5? Why isn't it just 2? That's because in the later episodes we are going to be using some small tips and tricks, but in a large episode that might just melt your brain completely. So I thought after the main components, why don't I just show you guys some small things that will be really crucial in the later episodes. So with that being said, let's just hop straight into it, shall we? Okay, I know that was a little bit fast-paced, but just you get the gist of it. Anyways, so let's just dive into it, shall we? So the topic that was black screening a whole lot in the last episode was powering. I was absolutely skipping over that. Why is that? Well, I mean, they're not that hard of a thing to understand, but I thought in the gist of every component in the game, it might get a little bit confusing. But in this video, we are just gonna straight hop into it. So powering, what is it? Powering is a term used in Redstone referring to power a block in a specific way. For example, if a power goes into a block like that, this block is being powered. Now in Minecraft, there are two kinds of powering: soft powering and hard powering. Now, first of all, I guess let's just get into with soft powering. Now, if you guys remember, I referred to as if a redstone dust goes into a block, it powers it softly. That actually is the case. So if a powered redstone dust goes into a block like this, the line goes into this block is being soft powered. That this block can power every single redstone component that is adjacent to it, like this. And if you place a repeater facing into this block, as in like that, it also gets powered. And actually, I mentioned that we're going to be talking about comparators in a later video. That is what you're going to be doing, but there's some elements in this video that I'm going to be exposing the comparator a little bit. And if you place a comparator, it will also light up. So you might be wondering, this block can do everything, so why is it named soft and why is it this one named hard? You see, that's because if you power a block with a redstone dust, that block cannot power, that block can power this block, but if you can take a redstone dust output from it. So basically what that means is if you power a block with a redstone dust, you can take a redstone dust output. Now in some cases, this actually might be a little bit useful. So for example, here, this redstone dust can't actually interact with this one, meaning that we can have two separate lines just running next to each other, differentiated by a block. But in some cases, this is actually not helpful, in which case we have ourselves hard powering. Now you can actually probably imagine what hard powering is. So as I actually mentioned in the previous video, if you power any kinds of redstone inputs, actually, that input powers that block that's standing on with a hard power. That was a little bit confusing. Let me just give you guys an example. For example, if I put a button, a lever, or any kinds of inputs here, put a redstone dust next to it, power this, you'll see the redstone dust gets powered. Now, every single input powers the block it's sitting on, the blocks it's next to it, with a hard powering. Apart from, because there are two inputs that actually don't allow hard powerings to go on. Those two are these two right here. If you place a redstone block, it cannot hard power anything else. So here it can't, and a daylight sensor can't. So what does this all mean? So this basically means that if you have an input to a block, or if you have a power going into a repeater or a comparator, these two will act also hardly power this block that they're going into with a hard power. Now you probably already can imagine what hard powering can do. It can do basically every single thing a soft powering do. For example, if I put additional components all around it and not there, you can see all of them fire up. If I put a redstone repeater next to it, it also powers up. If I put a comparator, it also powers up. And the extra benefit of hard powering is that you can take a redstone dust output from it. So yeah, that's actually the powering mechanism that I skipped over in the previous episode heavily. I mean, I actually could have explained what it was, but it was getting a little bit confusing, so I thought I'll spare you guys the details and just move on. So I mean, that was the main part of the video, but I thought like this was a really short section, and it will be really nuts of me to just make a video about these. So there's another thing that I would like to mention, actually two more things in this video that are going to be useful in the useful in the next video. I can talk that I might as well show you guys how they work. So give me a second. Okay, so the next topic on our list is blocks. Now you might be wondering, blocks? Seriously, dude, you're gonna talk about blocks for a little bit because in Redstone there are two kinds of blocks, solid blocks and transparent blocks. You might be wondering, okay, so you have solid blocks and transparent blocks. That means every single block apart from glass is a solid block. Well, I mean, if you consider building, yes, but in Redstone, not quite. You see, in Redstone, there's a lot more, I guess, transparent blocks that you might imagine. But that's getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. Let me explain what blocks are. So we're going to be starting off with solid blocks. So if you can see here, we are using this red wool block on the powering cases. Now, why are we doing that? Because red wool is a solid block. Now, what are the properties of a solid block in Redstone? So if you power a solid block, that block can conduct the power that it's given. So that basically means that in here, you're using a repeater to power this block. That block is conducting that power and it's giving off a signal. And the same thing goes here. If I put that, you see this block is being softly powered, but the repeater is still taking the output. So that's basically solid blocks. Another thing that they can do is, for example, let's say you have a redstone dust tower going up, and if you place a block here, you see these don't actually connect up, and yeah, that's basically solid blocks. Now moving into its transparent blocks, there's a lot more than you would expect. So these are a few examples of transparent blocks. Sorry, actually that's not one of them, but here's another one. So these are solid transparent blocks in Minecraft. Now you might be sorry, I can't talk. So this glass is representing every single glass variant there is in Minecraft. Glowstone is glowstone. Honey block is a transparent block. Just for a fun fact, you might be wondering, why didn't I put a slime block? Well, you see, honey blocks are transparent blocks, that's alright, but even slime blocks, even though they should be transparent blocks like these, slime blocks are actually solid blocks. They can conduct power and they stop redstone from going in a tower. So that's a fun fact to keep in mind. Pistons are actually a transparent block, meaning that they can't conduct power, but they can actually take in power. So for example, if I put a piston there, power it from this side, it powers up. But if I put a redstone dust here, you see it actually doesn't power up. Even if I put a repeater, it won't. If I put a solid block there, it actually won't. So that's actually a little bit of a fun fact for you. And sea lanterns are also one of them. Now, what do these blocks have special abilities that I'm mentioning? So for example, these cannot hold redstone, sorry, they can conduct redstone signals, for example. If I do that, this one is not going to get powered. I mean, that's kind of useful. If I put you can actually put redstone on these, I guess, transparent blocks now, because I don't know, that wasn't the case for a long time. So that you can do now that. Also, as you saw before, redstone can actually go up these towers without actually breaking the signal. So as you can see here, the redstone can actually go up. Now if I power that, oh sorry, that actually doesn't work because you can't power these from the side. You have to do it from the I guess that. One actually last final thing about transparent blocks is that redstone actually does not run down them. So give me a second for me to demonstrate them. So here you can see we have some slabs which I actually forgot to mention, you can also place redstone on top of top half slabs like these, as you can see here, and they actually count as transparent blocks. So as you can see here, the redstone signal actually does not run down them. That's a feature I thought was for transparent blocks, but actually, I actually didn't know this, but apparently, if you can see here, redstone can actually run down glass, but can't run down slabs. That's actually a feature I actually didn't know. Huh. Okay, okay, so okay, I'm learning a few things as well, but yes, you can't run redstone dust signals down from slabs, but you can do that with glass. So maybe consider using glass for the next time you do this. Well, that does it for transparent blocks, solid blocks, and the powering. So before we wrap things up, I have one more thing to talk about in this video. So I actually forgot to mention, no, I actually did mention one thing, that redstone does convey signals, as you can see here. Each block you go, the signal goes down gradually. You can actually notice that by seeing how dark the orange is. As you can see here, it's absolutely bright orange, but as you go, it gets red and eventually it turns to black, like here. I forgot to mention that a redstone repeater can take a signal from a redstone current. That can be any kinds of signal, from signal strength of 15, that is here, or signal strength of 1, which is here, and that can multiply that to 15 again. So for example, if you have a redstone I guess input, and you want to power a thing 30 blocks away, you can do that by using a repeater in middle, which will boost the signal from when you get to 14, it goes to again 15, and it goes on. So that's a thing you might want to know. And the last thing that I would like to mention is comparator signal, I guess, conveying. You see, comparators are a little bit interesting as to how they convey signals. So you might be thinking that they either do nothing to convey over signals, or they boost the signal by 15 as repeaters do. But which none of them are actually correct, because comparators act in a little bit, I guess, interesting, because a comparator, if you give it a certain amount of signal strength, for example, here you can see it's having a signal strength of 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10. So its signal strength of 10 is going to this comparator, and the comparator will actually give off a signal strength of 10 as it was giving into it. So that's actually really, really useful if you want to convey over a specific amount of signals that actually need conveying. You can do this over the course of a lot of comparators. For example, here's a signal strength of 10 comparator, as you can see here. If I put another comparator down, that will actually convey over signal strength of 10 again, and you can just basically run this over how many times you would like. That's actually a little bit useful, as I already said, and we probably won't be using this in this series, but it's a really, really nice thing to know about. But yeah, that's going to be doing it for this really, really short and mini episode. I really think these things are going to be useful in the later episodes, and just overall good to know. So I really hope you learned something from this video. Hopefully you learned a little bit about powering, solid blocks, transparent blocks, and how powering conveys over. If you did, make sure you hit the like button, and if you're feeling good about this series, make sure you subscribe with notifications turned on. Actually, you want to be doing that, because I actually just got done recording another video, and in that video I got insane luck. I won't spoil anything, but you probably want to see that really, really badly. So make sure you turn on notifications after subscribing. But that's gonna do it for today, guys. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.